Hey guys, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Yes, we have a launch today. Finally, it feels like it's been a minute. There's been a lot of scrubs, and it's just really not been a lot of action near the end of the year here. But here we go. So of course, let's start off today with our pre-launch preview, so we can learn, what's going on. So obviously, you can go to everydayastronaut.com and click on pre-launch previews, and you're going to get this nice little list of all these upcoming missions. And so, oops, I accidentally clicked on it, and then it got slow. And now we get to wait for the internet. So anyway, here's our list of upcoming missions. As you can tell, there's one happening in 28 minutes and 19 seconds, which happens to correspond perfectly with my little timer over there. Internet. How's it happen? How does it work? Okay, so we're going to go through this pre-launch preview real quick here and give you a rundown. This is subject to change. Obviously, today is December 5th, 2019. Exactly 1 year ago to the day that SpaceX launched CRS-19, which I don't know if you remember, was a mission that didn't quite go. The mission actually was perfect. The mission was flawless. The landing of the first stage of the Falcon 9 booster didn't quite go as planned, and it had a little bath. So we're going to talk about that in a second, because it's just crazy that it's literally on the 1 year anniversary. So hopefully today's landing gets better. So more on that in a second. The mission name here, this is CRS-19, which is a Dragon resupply mission going to the International Space Station. The launch provider is SpaceX. The customer is NASA. So this is, of course, NASA kind of started this whole commercial resupply services after the space shuttle ended. They initially employed SpaceX, and at the time it was, now it's Northrop Grumman, Orbital ATK. Sorry, my brain already totally switched, but Orbital ATK and SpaceX got the initial contracts to be able to send supplies and resupply the International Space Station once the space shuttle ended. And now that's evolved, it's also becoming the commercial crew program, which we're obviously seeing beginning to happen now as SpaceX gets ready for their Crew Dragon capsule and Boeing gets ready to put they literally have finally their Starliner on top of an Atlas V rocket on the pad or out on the horizontal HIF, the horizontal integration facility. There we go. Out there in Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So hopefully we'll see that launch really soon. So, okay, let's keep going here. The rocket today is a Falcon 9, of course, a Block 5 variant, so their newest. That will probably be the last version of the Falcon 9 that we ever see. This one in particular, the serial number is B1059.1. So .1 meaning this is the first flight of this particular booster. This is taking off from Space Launch Complex 40 or Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Don't forget, of course, we say this every time, but Slick SLC, Space Launch Complex, that denotes that it's coming from Cape Canaveral instead of nearby Kennedy Space Center. They're literally like on the same little plot of land, but there's like a slight divider there. The launch pads that are on Kennedy Space Center proper are just Launch Complex, not Space Launch Complex. Just remember that. Fun little fact. Payload mass, approximately 7,700 kilograms, which is about 17,000 pounds. This is a pretty heavy Dragon capsule. The Dragon capsule is going to low Earth orbit to rendezvous with the International Space Station. They will be attempting to recover the first stage, as we mentioned, and they're actually landing it this time downrange. Instead of CRS missions typically can land back on land no problem due to the RTLS, the return to launch site landing. This mission, though, they actually are not doing that. And there was a lot of speculation at first. A lot of people, including myself, I was actually thinking that was because they were testing the Dragon capsule out on the landing zone, out on that concrete pad. And I was like, they probably have equipment out there still. They don't want to move to clear way for the landing. But come to find out, it's actually they're going to be testing the upper stage coasting for an extra long time. Now, they've done a couple different tests like this. They've already done that with, Falcon Heavy demo mission, intentionally coasted way out to geostationary orbit before they did an insertion burn or some kind of burn. This is going to be another version like that where they let the upper stage coast. So after stage separation and in low Earth orbit, it'll do another burn, kick itself out to a geostationary orbit, and then coast again, do another ignition. And what I think is that's just them verifying all their numbers over and over and over and proving time and time again, or maybe extending what they can offer to a customer. So it might be something like, you know, we think we can do this, but we're not going to tell a customer we can do this until we know we can do this type of thing. And why not? You know, if they have the ability to test an upper stage like this, why not, right? They will not be attempting to recover a fairing because the Dragon capsule has no fairing. This will be the 76th flight of a Falcon 9 rocket, 12th mission for SpaceX this year, so on average once a month. Second mission of a twice-used Dragon, because yes, this Dragon has been used twice already. And 46 successful booster landing, assuming it lands today. And this will be the 28th landing on the drone ship. So here's, of course, our wonderful graphic from Jeff Barrett. And yeah, if you need a rundown on this stuff, just go over to everydayastronaut.com, click on pre-launch previews, and our wonderful team of writers. This one was written by Trevor. Thank you, Trevor, for writing this one up. We now have a small team of people that are working to actually keep on top of these because I got a little overwhelmed. So everyone thank Trevor for this one. Yeah. So I wanted to show you guys, this is a fun reminder of last year. I'll say hi to you guys in just a second, but thanks for joining. I missed these. It feels like it's been so long. Okay, so last year, a year ago, we saw this happen. So let's see if we can. So this is of course looking down, and actually it looks like we already missed the part where the. Okay, so notice the Falcon 9 booster here. We're seeing it on the left, looking down the stage from the top, looking down. And you notice the grid fins there. You know, they normally do their thing, and they can articulate like this and steer the booster. But you'll notice that they aren't moving, and it's really starting to get out of control. I remember right here, I was just like, oh, that's not good. Yeah, and this is all we saw on the live stream. Later on, people had awesome footage from the coast, including Das Valdez had some amazing footage. He tracked it like absolutely flawlessly. You need to watch that footage. And as you probably know, that did end up splashing down a kilometer or two off the coast of Florida. So I actually did a really, really in-depth video. This was one of my more in-depth videos. Actually, it's not a very well-watched one, but if you need to know how they actually handle what happens when, you know, a rocket fails, I really, really dive into it, specifically with landing. I don't talk so much about flight termination system on ascent, but I really wanted to know, like, what keeps it from just smashing into, you know, Orlando or Cocoa Beach or something. And so I did a video, what keeps everyone safe when rockets fail. And it's a full-blown in-depth video where I even was able to perfectly simulate what happened using Kerbal Space Program and also using a lot of flight data, including stuff from flightclub.io. So definitely check this video out if you're curious about last year's failure. Crazy that was a year ago. It's so nuts that this is going to be on the exact same date. So, all right, let me get back to you guys here. How are you guys? Oh, I missed you guys. Let's start off here real quick. OBK, thank you so much. I think you sent that thing yesterday. You're awesome. Thank you. John and Salty Gamer, new members. Thank you. Innocent Rapper, another happy day, another happy landing, hopefully. Howdy, Tim. Thank you, Innocent Raptor. How's it going? Sir Billy Ritchie, you planning on doing an oral spacecraft episode? I don't even know what an oral spacecraft is. So maybe once I learn more about that, maybe. Yeah. Corona Kivo, I want my full flow stage combustion jacket. Where it at, though? If you're talking about your, the full flow stage combustion hoodies are shipping this week. As you know, we got, you know, it was whatchamacallit last week, because we finally did get those up. We have, let's see. Yeah, we just added these in stock this week, which are for Black Friday through Cyber Monday. We finally got these in stock, and they are shipping this week. So hopefully it'll be there. Anything, if you're in the U.S., anything will easily be there by the holidays, by Christmas and stuff. No problem. Ooh, we have some SpaceX radio. I'll keep that slightly in the background. If you order something Black Friday, you'll easily get that by the holidays. If you didn't and you want to have it by the holidays, in the US at least, I think you need to order it by next weekend. And then my shop will still be able to get it to you by like the 13th, 14th, 15th. I think the 15th is the cutoff date. Anything after that, and they cannot get it to you in time. Full Flow will be there they're shipping this week, so hopefully you'll get shipping confirmation here any minute. But yeah, I'm really excited because we do have a few extra new t-shirts and stuff, like this new lunar mission tee. The fun fact that I like about this one is it's based on this picture of Gene Cernan about to enter a lunar module simulator. Yeah, so check this out. It's awesome. And remember, a lot of the shirts now do have these cool little custom tags. I only have one picture up of that, but the custom tags definitely make these shirts like way cooler. And I need to like remind people that they have those, because that's like super cool. Yeah, so there you go. everydayastronaut.com/shop. Grab some stuff there while for the holiday season. And don't forget, we do have the RUD section. So a lot of these are really good closeout sales on a lot of extra inventory on shirts that are no longer available, and these have sold out already. But we do have the old science hoodies. We're gonna replace that with something, the old F1 shirts without the tags and a slightly different material and a different tag printout and all that stuff. Science shirts. So yeah, get those while you can, guys. And thanks for all you guys for shopping and supporting what I do. Okay. How many Block 5 boosters exist now? I believe the number is somewhere near, let's see, what are they at? Gosh, they've been flying them. Here, I'm going to pull this up too, by the way. That's a great question, because some of them are no longer in operation. They've had to throw one away even. I don't actually know the number of how many, but I believe we're probably somewhere around 15 boosters or something that have been built that are Block 5 variants. But let's see here. Maybe someone in our Discord channel knows. Do you guys know exactly what the exact number is? Oh, there we go. Ben's on it. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, good question, and thanks, Zabu. Coffee and Drones, love your work. Thanks so much for all you do to keep us up to date. You're welcome, Coffee and Drones. Thanks for saying hi. Roof Demand. Hey, Tim ordered a Model 3 with your referral code. I'm sure he can use the extra free miles. Taking delivered next week. Hyped. Congratulations, Roof Demand, and thanks for using my referral code. That is awesome. I really appreciate that. You're going to love your car. I can guarantee that. Have fun. What a great time. That's awesome. Congrats. Bob Blither Act needs more cowbell or Kerbal. I do need to do some Kerbal. I'm probably going to do a Kerbal live stream with my patrons. I should schedule that out this weekend and just get on it just for funsies. Speaking of just for funsies, I was like, I'm going to whip up a quick video about Starship abort systems. And I have. The problem is it's not going to be quick. I just finished scripting, and let's see. I am up to, just in case that goes the other way, I am up to 17 pages on that. It's a 17-page long script. Why do I do this to myself? That means that's going to be a 40-some minute video, and whoops. But it's going to be really, really, really good. We get a lot into human certification. A lot of the actual data and statistics on things like engine failure, on launch abort systems being used, on launch abort systems not being used, on the space shuttle, comparing it to the space shuttle. It's going to be a really, really good in-depth video. Honestly, like, this is one of those that you guys have been asking about for a long time, and I'm not taking it easy. I am like diving really, really deep. So sorry if you guys don't like those long videos. My bad. I'm going to give you all the facts that I can. I even graphed out and charted out every single orbital rocket launch, their success rate over time. Also looked at the history of aircraft. So I went in the weeds, and I haven't really come out of it yet. And it's been, let's see, I think I started Sunday scripting, and I just sat and just typed and typed and typed. I've never scripted so fast and so feverishly in my life. So I think you guys will really, really like this one. That hopefully will come out. I'm going to shoot that either today or tomorrow. But also, Jack, can I increase slow-mo? Then it gets very inundated. It's 10 seconds. Hopefully that's okay for you guys. But thank you, Jack. Mudflap, thanks for the new membership. And Cityware, I remember a problem you had. Chrome extension brings back full-size image download when searching Google Images. View image and download for G-Search. Okay. I will look into that. And thanks, Night Fox. Okay, time to listen in here, guys.
It's just after 12:14 p.m. Eastern Time on December 5th, and you're looking at a live view of Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 40, where a Falcon 9 is about to launch a Dragon spacecraft. Liftoff is targeted for 12:29 p.m. Eastern Time or 5:29 p.m. Coordinated Universal Time. I'm Alex Siegel, a Dragon material planner here at SpaceX. It is great to be here with you to cover the 19th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station for NASA. Today's launch window is instantaneous, as is the case with all cargo resupply missions to station. We are at T-minus 13 minutes and 53 seconds and counting, with all systems currently go before our Cape Canaveral and at SpaceX Mission Control in Hawthorne, California. So let's take a closer look at today's Falcon 9 and Dragon spacecraft. Today we will be delivering more than 5,700 pounds of cargo to the ISS, including critical materials to support numerous science and research investigations that will occur on board the orbiting laboratory. We'll have more detail on that research later in today's webcast. This will be SpaceX's 12th launch this year, and we'll be launching a flight-proven Dragon spacecraft today for its third mission. It previously flew on CRS-4 in September 2014 and CRS-11 in June 2017. Both Falcon 9 and Dragon were designed with reflight in mind, so the vehicle hardware is built to support multiple missions with minimal refurbishment in between. Today we will be flying a brand new booster and recovering it on our autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, for use on future missions. And above the first stage is the second stage, which has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine, which ignites after the first stage separates. The second stage is what will carry Dragon to its intended orbit, allowing the spacecraft to eventually rendezvous with the space station.
Hey there, I'm John Fetterspiel, Dragon Engineering Manager here at SpaceX, and I am thrilled to be here joining you for today's launch. If you just joined us yesterday, we stood down because of expected high winds during both ascent and at the recovery ship. Today, however, the weather is much improved with about 10 mile per hour ground winds, and we're looking great for an on-time launch. We're sitting about T-minus 12 minutes right now, and the SpaceX team is working no significant issues at the moment. Taking a step back, we conducted the go, no-go poll at T-minus 38 minutes, and propellant loading began shortly thereafter. Right now, our fuel, rocket-grade kerosene called RP1, is fully loaded on second stage, and we're topping off the first stage. Liquid oxygen loading is underway on both stages. We're about 75% full on first stage. We're going to continue loading liquid oxygen up right until the final 2 minutes of the countdown. We're also loading helium gas into both stages. Falcon 9 uses helium as a pressure to backfill the stages as the tanks are emptied during ascent. Today we're flying Dragon. That's what you see in the screen right here. Dragon also reporting all systems go for today's flight. It's currently undergoing final vehicle health checks, with its next big event coming up at T-minus 8 minutes when the spacecraft will transition to internal battery power. Our last two wet indicators for the day, range ready to support. As I mentioned before, weather green for today's mission. And so with launch, Falcon 9, Dragon, and range all go for the flight at T-minus 10 minutes and 55 seconds. All systems are go at Cape Canaveral.
Our Dragon spacecraft has been making trips to the space station for 9 years now, and today it's still the only vehicle flying that can deliver significant cargo both to and from the orbiting lab. In 2010, SpaceX became the first private company to send a spacecraft to orbit and return it to Earth. Just 2 years later, in 2012, Dragon became the first privately developed spacecraft to visit the space station. Since then, SpaceX has made a total of 20 trips to station, and we're under contract with NASA for a total of 26 cargo resupply missions. This morning, Dragon will be carrying dozens of research payloads to the space station, including within the trunk the Hyperspectral Imager Suite, or HISUI, and a replacement battery for the space station's use. Once on station, HISUI will be removed from the trunk and deployed on the Japan experiment module for 3 years, where it will regularly image the Earth to observe environmental changes for scientific purposes. Let's take a look at some of the groundbreaking research that will be aboard the CRS-19 mission.
So due to copyright strikes, we're just going to be watching this. Yeah. Anytime there's music, it's like YouTube's like, oh, too bad. I heard that. I did actually see a really, really good question from Brett Missinger in the chat here. He asked about, so he goes, didn't the Dragon blow up due to trying to fire Super Dracos? Did something change? How are they flying Dragon again? Don't forget, this is Dragon 1. This is the original Dragon capsule. Does not have Super Draco thrusters. And SpaceX since has fixed the problem with the Crew Dragon / Dragon 2 capsule that has Super Draco thrusters. The problem was actually that they were using a titanium valve to regulate pressure between the high pressure systems and just the Draco's thrusters. And basically what happened, there's some kind of valve that was able to be hit with a slug of nitrogen tetroxide, a solid chunk of it. And that's part of the hypergolic fuel system. The slug just slammed into this titanium valve, and it actually ended up igniting it and sparking a fire, and that just turned into a catastrophic failure because of the whole hypergolic systems failure. So what happened basically is they just changed from a titanium valve to more of just a standard check valve, just a valve that is a one-way valve system. So if the Super Dracos need to be fired, that cracks that valve. It's a lot more reliable. But it can't be shut down or repurposed. And the reason they used to have a valve, it was actually a vestigial leftover from when they were trying to land Crew Dragon capsule. So remember how Dragon capsule had the ability to hover, and they were hoping to be able to land it. Well, that whole plan got canceled due to really NASA not being interested in trying to land humans using the propulsive landing system. And so SpaceX didn't need to throttle, have the same on-off ability of the Super Draco thrusters. So now they just have a standard check valve or some kind of blow-through valve, a one-way, one-time valve that if they would need to be used in abort, just pops, goes, and that fixed the problem. So just one of those things that's, this is one of those reasons why it is really so important to test. Because I don't know if that would have ever cropped up had they not just been testing the crap out of that system. And it's one of those really good learning moments. So I'm glad that they found that personally. So yeah, it just makes for a better system altogether.
This is just a small sample of the dozens of research experiments that Dragon will take up to the space station. You can follow @space_station on Twitter for more information on the exciting microgravity research happening on the station.
Today kicks off one of the busiest times in the history of the Dragon program, with exciting events happening for both Dragon 1 and 2. The action really started last month, where we successfully static fired all 8 Super Draco engines on our in-flight abort test vehicle, meeting all test requirements. At full throttle, these engines together can generate over 120,000 pounds of thrust to safely propel Dragon away from Falcon 9, and the event abort is required. Successful completion of that test was a key milestone for both the SpaceX and NASA teams, as it demonstrated the upgrades to the Super Draco system in response to the test anomaly we experienced earlier this year. The team is now performing minor refurbishment to that capsule to prepare for the actual in-flight abort test targeted for February of 2020. Following a successful test, we'll move forward with launching humans, slated also for the first quarter of next year. Now, bringing it back to today's launch, we're sitting about T-minus 6 minutes and counting for an on-time launch to the International Space Station at 12:29 p.m. Eastern Time. In these final few moments, Falcon 9 is performing the last health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems in preparation for flight. The good news is, as we're looking through these checks, all systems remain go for today's flight. About a minute and a half ago, we began chilling in the engines of both the first and second stage vehicles. That's where we flow a small amount of liquid oxygen to the 9 Merlin 1D engines in the first stage to begin cooling them down to prepare them for full flow at ignition. This is why you start to see a white cloud form at the base, and now you see one closer in the inner stage as that liquid oxygen is boiling off into gaseous oxygen. As of right now, we're sitting completely full of fuel on the first and second stage and continuing to top off liquid oxygen on both stages. This is going to lead us up to these final few fueling moments, up to T-minus 1 minute, where Falcon 9 is going to take over the countdown process and enter into the startup mode, which will guide the rocket through the rest of the countdown. Listen in at T-minus 45 seconds, where you're going to hear the SpaceX launch director give us the final go for launch. And finally, a few seconds before ignition, before liftoff, the engines will ignite, leading to T-0, where we will have the rocket be released from the hold-down clamps, and you will see the strong back retract away from the rocket, clearing the way for F9's ascent. We're taking Dragon today. It's also performing its final health checkouts. Its earlier transition to internal power went smoothly, and so it is all ready to go for today's flight to the space station. Range remains go for today's launch. No tracking, no issues. Weather also looking beautiful at Cape Canaveral. And so with about T-4 minutes right now, we're actually going to go silent on our side at the webcast here and let you enjoy these final few moments before liftoff of Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral.
So, we just got some news there. It sounds like the in-flight abort test, and that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. That's when they're going to intentionally fire up those Super Draco motors in flight, right at max Q, right at the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure. As the vehicle's ascending, they're going to fire those off, and they're going to intentionally, I think, blow up the first stage booster, is what I've heard, instead of trying to recover it. That's going to be an awesome mission. That they just said is going to be pushed to February. We were still hoping this year. As a matter of fact, NASA even opened up press credentials for that, and I signed up for it, but now I'm sitting there going, crap, I guess February's, that's fine, but that's about 2 months later than we hoped, and obviously that has to happen before they put people on for DM2, for Demo Mission 2, and we're all really, really, really waiting for that. So hopefully that still happens Q1 if in-flight abort goes well. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to just roll out and basically fly DM2 very soon after, once they've collected all the data and confirmed everything looks good. But my guess would be it'll be at least a month or two after in-flight abort would be the soonest we'd even consider DM2. So now we're looking at Q2, pretty easily Q2 of 2020 before humans get on top of a Dragon capsule. Man, that is just so much longer. Everything in space always takes longer than you thought. The good news is they are working on certifying their parachute system. They just tweeted, I think yesterday, they've now certified 7 out of their 10 parachutes. They're done 7 out of the 10 parachute deployment tests where they need all 4 parachutes to operate perfectly fine. 10 in a row basically is what they need to do. So that's going along smoothly. They're at 7. Hopefully 10 happens before the end of the year, and the parachute can therefore be certified for human safety. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah. The host did say Q1 for DM2, but of course if it's February before in-flight abort happens, if they're saying February now, that probably means late February or early March. And I'm just guessing there's no way they'll fly within a month of in-flight abort with people on board, even if in-flight abort goes perfectly. It's just, yeah. Now notice that it is venting a lot more. That means the tanks are fully pressurized, and now it's just venting the extra pressure out from the lines, purging the lines. This is all normal. This is all good. That's not smoke. That is condensation, because the liquid oxygen is really cold. Spoiler alert, don't go up and touch the booster right now. Your hand would freeze to it because the skin is that cold. It's very, very, very cold. But Matthew Duggar, thank you for saying hi and for watching from work. Ash Daddy, I do think a 50-pound rabbit is huge. How is that even a question? Cardinal Slinky, I about spit my coffee out when I read this. Sorry if you already covered this. Is Falcon Heavy a sandwich?
Go for lunch.
Ooh, yay, go for lunch. That's good. I will, Cardinal Slinky, I will say that it is. It's definitely a sandwich rocket. Danny, thanks for the membership. And James Dowling, thank you for saying hi. All right, guys, we are T-minus 30 seconds away.
T-minus 30 seconds.
There's not much else to see. Don't forget, Slick 40 and Launch Complex 39 do have that new strongback that swings away really quickly. It only retracts a few degrees at first right now. And then once liftoff occurs, it actually swings all the way back to 45 degrees, getting itself very clear of the actual, getting all those umbilicals clear of the flames.
8,
all right, let's
7,
listen in here.
6, 5, 4,
going to end up confirmed.
3,
here we go.
2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
What a beautiful day. It's gorgeous out there.
T plus 40 seconds into today's flight. All systems looking nominal for today's mission. Dragon on its way to the International Space Station for its 19th Commercial Resupply Services mission.
Oh, baby. Here we go.
Coming up in about 20 seconds, we have max Q, our maximum aerodynamic pressure,
Vehicle
one of the
supersonic.
highest stress states on the vehicle.
Crazy that
Just heard the call out that we passed through supersonic.
minute supersonic. That's so crazy.
Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
With that, we just heard the call. We passed through max Q.
It was an important call out, even though no modern rocket has really had a problem at max Q. It's just still an important
Recovery,
milestone in
AOS.
flight dynamics.
All 9 engines look good. Trajectory
Second
looks
engine
good.
kill.
Coming up, we are going to have 4 events in rapid succession. It's going to be main engine cutoff, or MECO, followed by stage separation, then second engine start 1. That's the engine on our second stage, followed by the start of the boost back burn of our first stage.
Now, if you watch my video about aerospike engines, you can see that the altitude, the thinning of the atmosphere, is definitely making that plume get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know why that happens. If you don't know why that happens, definitely watch my video about aerospikes. I explain all about expansion ratios and, you know, over expansion, under expansion, all the different things, because it is fascinating.
Looking at
to
a
see
view
that.
of our first stage, looking aft.
So cool. I'm also working on a video about rockets polluting, so if you're interested in
View
that,
inside the 2 stages as we wait for stage separation.
that was a good shot. There we go. Main engine cutoff.
MECO. Stage 1, boost back burn is starting.
And we just had a good main engine cutoff, a good stage separation. On the right side of your screen, you're seeing ignition of the second stage engine. It has about a 6-minute burn ahead. And then on the left side of your screen, that is a forward-looking view from our first stage, where the boost back burn has also started successfully. It's going to shut down here in just a few seconds.
Shut down to that first stage boost back burn already. You can tell when the wires all go slack because
Stage 1, boost back
they're
burn
not
is shut down.
experiencing any acceleration.
And then you just see on the tail of the screen there from the second stage camera, that was the nose cone from Dragon being deployed. The nose cone of Dragon being deployed means we've left a majority of Earth's atmosphere as we second stage powers Dragon to the International Space Station right now.
Now, I do want to point out, I get a lot of questions
Stage
here.
2 on nominal trajectory.
I'm going to go ahead and lower this. There's a few things that I want to point out that I get asked questions all the time. The upper stage, notice you can see that foil, it almost looks like beating heart. That's different valves kind of doing, bleeding things and doing different things. It's not, they still, are having little puffs of, nitrogen, different systems going through some of those lines, and it does affect the actual foil there, the thermal foil. The other thing I want you to notice that kind of snail-looking thing. It's called the manifold. That's the turbine exhaust manifold that's on the second stage. On the other shot, you can see there is a bleed valve that has a chunk of ice building up on it. Okay, so look. I don't know if you can see you might not be able to see my cursor, but it is right there. Oh, I think you can. Good. Notice there's a chunk of ice building up there, and those chunks of ice will eventually fall off. As soon as this stops accelerating, there's a lot of ice. There's still ice built up on the actual stage itself. There's also, ice in some of those purge valves, and you'll see a lot of ice debris just kind of floating off as the vehicle stops accelerating. And I get asked every time, did you see that? Was that a UFO? It's like, no. There's chunks of ice. You can see a big chunk about to fall off right there. There's literally it's very, very, very common to see little pieces flying off like that. And you can see, again, another bleed valve there. So if you see little bits flying, it's just the perspective we're at. It's flying away from the camera or flying overhead like this. Basically, think about like a GoPro. If you're seeing something fly by, it has to be within like a meter or two because it's such a wide angle lens that you wouldn't even be able to see anything large. And also, if there was other satellites and stuff, they're going by so quick in such different directions, you're not going to be seeing any satellites flying by. So if you ever see something on camera, assume that it came from the actual stage and the actual rocket itself. All right, that was enough of that. Now let's listen in here, see where we're at. And or it's aliens.
Stage 2 continues on nominal trajectory.
So you just heard out a call out. Stage 2 is still on nominal ascent, taking Dragon to station.
I still love this. All right, stage 1's about to get a little spicy. Well, this should be a pretty easy landing for it.
Stage 1, entry burn has started.
So you see on the left side of your screen, entry burn has begun. This should last just under 10 seconds, and we expect to see it shut down shortly.
They haven't actually done... Oh, that was a really short
Stage 1, entry burn shut down.
And there you hear the call out, entry burn is shut down. Next major event we're looking for in just under a minute or so is the landing burn to begin.
Dang. And this is one of the first times I've seen a boost back burn on a drone ship landing in a long time. That's because the actual
Stage
drone
2
ship
continues on nominal
is not
trajectory.
very far downrange compared to other missions. I think it's only, what, 300 kilometers downrange. They've landed like over 1,000 kilometers downrange now with some, I think with some missions.
Just about 30
Stage
seconds
1
or
is
so
shut
away
down.
for that landing burn to kick in.
Stage 1 didn't even get
watch.
spicy. Nice and easy landing.
Drone ship has AOS.
That's normal, don't panic. It's just likely gone over the horizon now, so the
Looks
actual...
like we lost our feed on the left
direct
side of the
link.
screen of the first stage coming down.
Stage 1, landing burn has started.
So you just heard on the call out, we did get confirmation that landing burn has begun. Hopefully we can pick that feed back up to see a landing.
Yeah, don't forget, as the vehicle crosses over the horizon, most of the telemetry and the video feed is actually coming directly from the vehicle to a ground station.
Acquisition of
this is
signal, New
actually-
Hampshire.
Stage
This
1,
is a
landing leg
relay
has
dish,
deployed.
and...
Unfortunately, it looks like we have lost our feed for the booster landing. Oh, and there it is. You hear the crowd behind me. Another successful landing. Congrats to the entire SpaceX team for another successful land. This marks our 20th successful first stage recovery. This secondary mission is an important part of our commitment to vehicle reusability.
They made up for last year's CRS-19. It has been fixed. Brand new booster, ready for several more flights.
About another 5 or 10 seconds here, we're going to have the engine shut down. Merlin vacuum engine right now throttling down in preparation for shutdown. We're standing by for shutdown of second stage engine, and then we'll have Dragon deployment about a minute after that.
Again, get ready. You'll likely see debris falling off the engine now that it's going to be done accelerating, especially as
And we
everything-
have shutdown and confirmation of a good orbit.
There's some ambient...
Second
thrust
stage
for
has
the
one last major task, and that's commanding
Nominal orbit
separation of
insertion.
Dragon less than a minute from now. We should have some video of the separation from Dragon from the top of second stage.
Dragon separation.
It'll give us a really nice view of Dragon's unpressurized cargo trunk, and we'll be able to follow the
Acquisition of signal, Newfoundland.
spacecraft separation for about a minute after separation. There's that camera view on your screen right now.
So easy.
Standing by right now for Dragon deployment, and here the confirmation of that. So at this stage in the mission, so far we're just coasting. Vehicle itself is doing some checkouts in preparation to gently separate Dragon from second stage. After that point in time, there you go. There's your live view of separation from Dragon. Carrying the Hisui, the spectral imager suite that's going to attach to the Japanese module, and then the station battery right next to it. Kind of on the top and bottom there, the flat sections, those are the solar array fairings which protected our solar arrays for ascent. We're now standing by for about 2 minutes from now where those solar array fairings will release and allow the solar arrays themselves to unfold.
So awesome. It's hard to really grasp how big that trunk is. That trunk is freaking huge, 3.7 meters, wide. So that's 12 feet wide. You could live in that basically. It's a really, really big amount of.
Just under
unpressurized
2 minutes till we're going to have deployment of Dragon solar arrays. Dragon does need these solar arrays in order to finish its 3-day mission. We have some onboard batteries. We use the solar rays to keep those batteries charged for the times when we're not in the sun. It allows us to keep the vehicle powered as we make our mission to the space station, our 3-day journey.
So, okay, let me real quick. I do still have questions about why does the camera shut off during landing? And of course, somehow people will turn that into a conspiracy theory because, of course, they do. My answer to the conspiracy theory, like, how convenient that the camera feed always drops off and then they cut to a different thing and then they hit a button. It's like, if they have the footage of, like pre-recorded or fake footage of it landing, you're saying they can fake that, but they can't fake like when to hit the button and splice the footage seamlessly. Like, that's the funniest thing to me is like, well, of course, there's the gap where the editor's like, hold on. Oh, crap, which button is it? This one. Like, if they have that footage, they could actually make it perfect. They could have it so it doesn't have any kind of cutout because they have the footage, right? If that's your like conspiracy, is that, oh, here, you can always see where they edited in. It's like, wait, that'd be flawless. That would be perfect. But of course, we actually always see a signal drop. And that's because, so notice that we lost downlink from the rocket. We had that nice clean feed of the rocket as it re-enters, and we lost it when it went over the horizon. Now, that means, of course, that the actual drone ship itself was over the horizon as well. And sorry, here's fairing deployment. I feel like I should be pointing that out. But the drone ship is over the horizon, and its link needs to be via satellite. So it actually has a satellite dish pointing up to a satellite, and then that relays back down to a ground station. And in order to maintain that link, that satellite dish has to be stable, right? It can't be shaking. And as the rocket comes into land, its exhaust plume and the plasma surrounding it just totally just poops all over whatever signal the drone ship actually has. Now, SpaceX has been working really hard to fix that. People always say, well, why don't you have like a buoy and a this and a that to make sure that feed stays clean, or maybe shoot it off to another thing. I think they're working on a few different options for linking. But don't forget, you don't want to spend any money on that. We're talking about, like, people are always like, well, have a drone fly with this giant satellite dish and all these different plans for 5 seconds of video. The video doesn't matter because they have the telemetry, the data, the $30 million booster they just recovered. So those 5 seconds for our viewing pleasure is literally worth nothing. Like, why? It shouldn't even be worth them trying to figure it out, to be honest, because it doesn't matter, like, at all. So just keep that in mind when we all are like, oh, the video dropped out. Like, who cares? Like 5 seconds of video that is recorded locally onto local storage. So just keep that in mind that, there's a lot more important things going on. Like, I don't know, sending a Dragon capsule to the International Space Station, just a little bit more important. So yeah, just wanted to keep that in mind, that they are working on some solutions. They've gotten better about the drone ship linkage and maybe doing some kind of bouncing. They're ending their live coverage now.
NASA and SpaceX's social media accounts. We want to give a big thanks to the range and the FAA for their support today. And finally, we want to most importantly thank you, the viewers, for joining us. Until next time, have an awesome rest of your day.
Boom. Well, you're making it look easy, SpaceX. You really are. Congrats on, so far, a flawless mission. Of course, they said that the docking will be, I missed what time exactly they said the docking will be, but you can actually tune into that. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that picture at the end with Dragon capsule was gorgeous. I might not need that anymore. So yeah, congratulations, SpaceX. What a gorgeous, gorgeous mission. Again, making up for last year's CRS-19, which did not actually, was not able to land. But of course, the mission itself, CRS-19, was totally successful. The booster landing was just not successful, but then again, SpaceX is the only one doing booster landings, so can you really say it was a failure? Before I forget, guys, I do need to tell you something. I have a fun announcement, and I don't feel like I always get to have fun announcements. I did sign up for something. I did something. I did a thing, and it's this. My patrons don't even know this because I kind of forgot to share it. Look at that Joker in a freaking spacesuit. I'm actually going to be live at the first ever fully charged live show in Austin, Texas, February 1st and 2nd. I'm going to be doing a panel, or we're going to do a live recording of Our Ludicrous Future podcast. If you don't listen to Our Ludicrous Future, get on it right now. That's the podcast I do with Joe Scott from Answers with Joe and Ben Solons from Teslanomics. And we're going to do a live recording at Fully Charged Live in Austin, Texas, February 1st. And I'm also going to do another speech. I'm actually going to do a talk about the pollutions of rockets. So I'm working on finishing up, obviously, that script on how much rockets pollute. It's been a very research-intensive video because, yeah, it's really, really in-depth. So I'm going to do a talk about that. So if you want to come hear me talk, do a speech about that, come meet me, come hang out with Ben Solons and Joe Scott and see a live recording of Our Ludicrous Future, head on over to fullycharged.show and check out the first, I think this is their first live thing like this ever. And it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of other fun people. So I don't know if you guys watch Fully Charged. I do watch it. It's an awesome YouTube channel. But yeah, I just thought that'd be kind of fun. So check that out, fullycharged.show. And join me in February if you guys want. So that's exciting. Let's get back to a few more of you guys' questions. Let's see. Danny, I think. James, thank you. Jack, no, we don't say that. Like, what good is that going to do? I'm not even going to read that. Patrick Emery, we're going to the moon, folks. We are someday in the near future. Just not right now, not on this mission. But yes, a lot of exciting things are happening. Technical Fool, hey, how's it going? It's been a while. Barge boop maneuver complete. It was a very clean barge boop at that even. Dylan Kuhn, thanks for all the knowledge, Tim. Can't wait for the video on rocket pollution. Like I said, it's turning into a doozy. I'm trying to get it out this year because I do want it to be a video supporting Team Tree well, technically, is it Team Trees or Team Tree? No, I'm doubting myself. Anyway, that whole thing, because they are actually coming up short. They're trying to hit 20 million trees by the end of the year. And I think last time I checked here, let's just find out. Teamtrees.org. I don't know. Okay, they are short. I'm going to try to bring in a little bit of last hurrah. They're at 17,342,048 trees planted. And they're trying to do that by January 1st. So I'm really, really, really trying to get my video about rocket pollution out by then to support Team Trees. And my video is going to talk about not only just air pollution and just the pollutants involved, including like aluminum chloride and all these other things, especially like solid rocket boosters are nasty, but also talking about the future. If rockets are launching as often as airplanes, is that sustainable? Because they actually put a lot of potentially carbon dioxide and water vapor up into the upper atmosphere. And that's actually a really, really bad thing. So I dive into all those numbers, figure out really like how bad it is as far as our planet goes. I also am going to even talk about polluting the oceans and even polluting space. So we're going to get into things like Starlink. This is going to be another Tim Dodd deep dive that I don't know why I do this to myself, but I just really love when you really, really, really don't just scratch the surface of something, but actually get some of the answers. Like, I want to know how much worse is a single Falcon Heavy launch than, a 737 flight? How much worse is, what happens if Starship starts flying as often, doing point-to-point transportation? Is that sustainable? Is that okay? Is that a total step backwards as far as sustainability? There's a lot of good questions to be answered. I'm really excited about that video. But meanwhile, like I said, I accidentally wrote a, 17-page script the other day. Dang it. So expect like 2 long videos from me this month and a secret surprise that I need to tell my Discord channel about. Guys, I have a surprise for you too that I'm doing in a week. So a lot of really fun things. I know you guys have probably been wondering. I was very busy the last month. November was one of the nuttiest months of my life. My dad is doing fantastic. For all of you who have been wondering about my dad, he had to have basically an emergency heart surgery. He has an artificial heart valve. He had a bicuspid aortic heart valve replaced 6 years ago. That actually got infected suddenly, and he got very, very ill. He was actually in Europe. They were, trying to walk around all this stuff, and he was very short of breath. And this is abnormal for my dad. He's 10 times more fit than me. He runs like 3 miles a day, literally. Lifts weights all the time and bikes 20 to 30 miles a day. those stats aren't made up. Trust me. So he had surgery 3 weeks ago today, actually. And already I went out to a movie with them Monday or Tuesday night. I don't remember what night. I think Monday night. I don't know. Tuesday night. I went to a movie with my parents. And that day my dad had already ridden 7 miles on his bike, on a recumbent bike. So yeah, they're already back at it. So my dad's doing great. But that did take up a lot of my time. Obviously family first. So I spent a good 2 weeks with my dad in the hospital. So November was kind of shot, but that being said, I did get a lot of research done. I've got a lot of really, really, really exciting content coming out that I'm hoping to squeeze in before the end of the year. So that final December push, wish me luck. And then of course, right at the beginning of the year, I will do the Astro Awards, where I award, just kind of give recognition to some of the spaceflight community and science community on the work in outer space, some cool missions that happened this year. In 2019, and we will recognize them hopefully on January 1st or 2nd. I'll try to get that video out. Let me know. I have on our subreddit and our Discord channel, we've been talking about some of those missions, but we're keeping track of the most exciting things. I'll probably do a popular vote though for the top mission once we get all three. I don't know if I can say Starhopper should that even be top 3? I mean, to be honest, think about, it was cool. It was awesome. It was my favorite thing I've seen. But as far as in the grand scheme of science, is it even top 3? That's up for a debate, I guess. So join us if you want. Look for that Twitter poll. I will be doing that probably relatively soon before the year is out as I'm scripting that video. So yeah, I am really, really excited for that. So those are always fun. All right. Jose Nito, we learned in school that cars are not made of steel because they need to deform and absorb energy during a crash. How do you think Cybertruck will do? Jose, that's actually a really valid concern, and I'm sure you're exactly right. The whole crumple zone, the crush zone is something that has changed. We look at, people used to think big giant cars were safe, but they weren't for that exact reason. They were so rigid and so big and overbuilt that basically you end up absorbing as much impact as the car does, right? So if you have an impact zone and a crumple zone, the car will absorb a lot of energy and, take it from 50 Gs down to 10 Gs or something survivable. That's the whole point of crumple zones. And of course, wearing a seatbelt so that, the car absorbs the energy instead of your body. So yeah, I don't know. That will literally need to be figured out and engineered around. And I'm sure there's things they can do. I'm sure that Tesla has thought of that. I love how people automatically go, have they thought about this? I'm sure someone in Tesla that deals with that stuff has literally thought of that and is working around some kind of engineering solution. Maybe there's something unique going to happen where I have no idea, but maybe there's another way to add some kind of I don't know. But you're exactly right. That is a concern when you have 3mm thick stainless steel as an exoskeleton of a vehicle. Is that safe? We'll probably be talking about that on this week's episode of Our Ludicrous Future, which I'm going to be recording here in about an hour. So that'll post tomorrow. So again, if you guys don't listen to Our Ludicrous Future, that's our, O-U-R, ludicrous, not like the rapper, future. And we have that podcast on YouTube. We do a video version of it, but also any podcast channel or whatever thing you use podcasts. And we'll talk about that this week. We'll also talk about a lot of other stuff. It's been 2 weeks since we've been able to get together. We took the last week off for the holidays. So yeah, great question. Definitely something I'm interested to learn more about. Okay, Lawrence. I just noticed a cool symmetry that a professional marathon runner could do a 42.2 kilometer in 2 hours, 10 minutes, and Falcon 9 can climb to the same distance in just 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Yeah, that is actually a very valid, that is a cool parallel and a cool mirror. Dang. So it does it, 60 times faster? That's crazy to think about. Huh. Wait, is it 60 times or... Let me do that math. Don't make me do math. That's horrible. It's a horrible idea. On-the-spot math is never a good thing. Philip, thank you. Ben Katz, hey, Tim, do you think the crew could use a cargo dragon as an emergency reentry vehicle in the event of a freak accident? I think that's actually been studied. Is can crew, say something happens and the only thing left on station is a crew dragon capsule? I think that's literally has to be considered as a total accidental lifeboat. And I would assume that if there's something catastrophically wrong with the ISS and for some reason the Soyuzes docked up there are no longer accessible, that yeah, the crew is probably going to climb inside a Dragon capsule and tell them to undock it and just cross their fingers. I think that could potentially be an absolute Apollo 13 style, oh crap, we need a lifeboat situation. But I don't know. I don't have any real data on that to really drill it in. But yeah, it's a good thought. Night Fox, thank you so much, Tim. I was literally just typing the question about the heartbeat in the second stage in Discord when you answered my question. This is why I watch your live streams. Well, thank you, Night Fox, and thanks for saying hi, and thanks for being part of our Discord channel. I feel like Discord channel, for those of you that want to join, you can go to patreon.com/everydayastronaut and join as a mission specialist, and you will become a Discord member, and you'll also join our exclusive subreddit and gain access to exclusive live streams. So if you want to support what I do, help me be able to do the thing that I'm going to be doing next week as a surprise, then consider becoming a Patreon, patreon.com/everydayastronaut. That stuff helps so much. That's the reason I'm able to continually reinvest in what I do. Every penny I make literally goes right back into this, whether it be gear, better audio, better video, literally new cameras, traveling to go, do things like talk with Elon Musk and Jim Bridenstine and spend 2 weeks waiting for Starhopper to do its Starhoppery things. So if you guys want to help me do what I do, please consider becoming a Patreon, patreon.com/everydayastronaut. But the good thing is it's a win-win. You also can gain access to Discord and our exclusive live streams and Reddit as well. So yeah, so thank you, Night Fox. Peter, I'm excited about you being at Fully Charged Live. I'll be there. You're so stoked. Good, Peter. I will see you there. Say hi. That's awesome. I'm really excited. It just all got confirmed this week. So I'm also working on another little thing. I'll just say I'm working on another thing in Austin. Period. There's a lot of work. There's a lot going on in the background. And I don't know how to say that. Wheeze, no idea. When did the circularization burn happen on this launch? So you can do a direct circularization burn when you're doing when you're just going to low Earth orbit. It's really quite easy. You can do it pretty easily in Kerbal Space Program. Normally, you see those circularization burns on a geostationary orbit, and it's not necessarily a circularization burn. Oftentimes, it's actually the actual insertion burn. So you don't need to do a separate circularization burn if your flight profile is right, and you can just kind of do it all in one go. But sometimes, like something like, say, the Electron intentionally isn't quite circular, so they deorbit the second stage. So the second stage goes around and burns up on reentry, and the Curie upper stage will actually take care of the circularization right there. So speaking of Rocket Lab, I think they're going to be launching. We haven't actually got a good solid date yet. But I think they're launching. I mean, the apps and my pre-launch preview do say tonight, but we haven't actually heard any confirmation on it. That was a net and no earlier than. So maybe we'll see Rocket Lab launch in like 12 hours from right now, but that'd be unusual. We haven't heard anything. Hopefully that happens by this weekend. I would really like for that to happen very soon. So yeah, good luck. And Henning, thank you so much as well. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Rocket Lab if they launch tonight. If they do, stay tuned. I will put that live stream up as soon as we know, and stay tuned for that. But again, before the holiday season, this is your chance to grab some merch before, if you want to get it by Christmas and by the holidays. Again, I think you have until about the 15th, but probably say the 13th to be safe. In the United States, if you order something, it'll be there by then. And again, check out the rapid unscheduled discount section for some good deals, extra good deals on stuff, including a few extra prints. And don't forget, if you we get free domestic shipping on any order over 100, and also we discount the international shipping significantly on orders over 100, because international shipping, it's crazy, guys. And I'm sorry, we do everything we can. I even discount international shipping already, like by 30 or 40% or something. So I can it sucks. International shipping is horrible. Also, they tend to get tied up in customs all the time. Sorry, yell at your customs people more. I don't know. But we try our best to get everything out on time. So yeah, if you want the stuff before the holiday season, you better get it on it right now. And don't forget too, if you work in the aerospace industry, click on this to receive 25% off all apparel. Don't try and cheat the system. I love when people are like, they'll do like Elon Musk at SpaceX.com. Like, you have to have access to the account. So when you click on that, it'll send you to a link that makes you do send in a email of a like what am I trying to say? Of a predetermined like domain list, pre-approved domain list. So basically, like if you work at SpaceX, NASA, Boeing, ULA, all these other companies, whatever, Rocket Lab, you click on that, you put in your work email. There's no like list. It just literally pings that and shoots you an email with a discount code. So if you don't have access to Joe Fake Guy at NASA.gov, like don't put that in because it's not going to work. So yeah. So that's as my thank you to you, though, for doing the hard work, inspiring me to do what I do, and literally getting humans off of this planet and exploring our cosmos. So yeah, that's for any apparel. Check it out. And yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, people are asking about Starman hoodies. Starman hoodies obviously sold out right away, and they were a nightmare, and I'm never doing them again. But we might do like a very, very, very simplified version of it sometime next year. But nothing like that again, ever. Sorry. So, Discord channel, word of the wise, like apparently don't watch them. Don't ask. Maybe dry clean them. Just be careful with them. Hang them up. For God's sakes, don't wear them. Oh, now you guys know why this has been the biggest nightmare of my life and why I'm never, ever, ever doing it again. Ever. That was like a 9-month fiasco, and it's still a fiasco. Okay, anyway, that won't be a problem with any of the other merchandise, though, by the way. I should make that clear. Just never do that. Never, never. Okay, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. Oh, I missed this from Michael. Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in very soon, as I will hopefully be covering the Rocket Lab launch. Their first attempt they're not going to recover that booster, but they're going to try to re-enter for the first time with a booster and using all their systems to collect data. So I don't know what we'll see from that launch, but that will be a fun one. Seeing another orbital rocket company working on reusability is awesome. So make sure, don't miss that mission. If you like seeing space hardware re-enter the atmosphere, this might be your only other chance anytime soon. So I'm really, really, really excited about Mission 10 with Rocket Lab, and I'll be live streaming that when it happens. So fingers crossed it happens soon, maybe by the end of the weekend. I think they have till the 12th for their launch license, and I really hope it happens before then. So yeah, so someone said Starlink. Troy says, Tim, Starlink, no loss. There will still be loss of connection, even with Starlink on a drone ship, because it's an uplink. So, yeah, unfortunately that, unless, you know what, there could be a better feed, though, from the booster itself, because the antenna could be above the plume. Although, I wonder how much even the plume around the rocket as it re-enters, how much of an effect that has on that uplink, even on the rocket itself. So I don't know if Starlink's an answer to the video feed dropout. It still requires an uplink, just has a lot more options, but who knows? Yeah, so, all right. Right now it's not a net. What are you talking about? I mean, it is a net. So we'll see. I haven't heard anything from Rocket Lab, but we'll see. Okay, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay tuned for a lot of good content, a lot of extra live streams, and an awesome December. I'm really excited. So thanks, guys. That's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Bye, guys.